Annie, we've worked together for many years. And so you know what I do. You know that I try to help companies hire the right people and find the best fit and help them find top talent.
Yeah.
And a topic that I find has been coming up more and more, especially in the context of this global war for talent.
Yeah.
And people saying more and more recently that the war is over, the candidates have won. Means that a lot of people have been starting to think about how do we attract talent to our organization, that it's no longer a situation of where we sit back and just, you know, pick the best people. They're not lining up to come to us. And I know that that touches on a topic that you're really an expert in, which is branding. And I know that you have a business where you are a branding and communication specialist. So tell us a little bit more about that.
First of all, thank you very much for having me. Looking forward to see what we reveal in this chat.
Yeah.
But the first thing I think I'd like to explain about what I do is that it's happened after a long period of time of working in human resources, in recruitment, and in marketing and branding.
Okay.
And I've finally come to a place where I know what it is I want to focus on, and that's brand and communications. So started my own business, and I call it brand and communications, and I don't call myself just a brand specialist for a reason, because I see brand and communications as two separate entities and as two big jobs.
Okay.
For me, branding is all about creating that impression, and that will lead you to building a relationship, and communications is what facilitates that relationship being built.
Okay.
So with building your brand, the brand strategy part of it is all about why am I doing this?
Yes.
And then the communication side is how do we go about delivering that message?
Okay. So what I've heard people say recently in workshops is kind of they're coming to a realization that branding is no longer the marketing department's job. That it's now starting to become, if people are engaging in candidate experience, creating a candidate experience, as we say, or, you know, interviewing people, attracting them to the organization, every interviewer or every person who is a touch point for that candidate has to now become a branding specialist in a way. Is that true? Is that what you're saying?
I think it's very true. It's very true, and from my experience, that's where I think a lot of recruiters I've worked with have gotten success.
Yeah.
In that they've managed to get a brand out, and they've managed to build relationships from that. Because if you think about it, why do you create a brand in the first place?
Yeah.
It's for you to build a relationship and deliver some type of service or deliver something to a person. So in building your brand, you then facilitate that. You're able to sort of come in touch with people of common minds, people who are like-minded, and people who would help you in terms of fulfilling your whatever recruitment goals that you have. Yeah.
So now the candidate, it's not just the company who's looking for like-minded people. The candidates are out there looking for companies who are like-minded and who hold the same values as they do. So how can recruiters or interviewers or managers, how can they go about boosting or building their own personal and company brand through that process, in your experience?
So it's not easy.
Yeah.
I think it comes naturally for some people, and then with others there's more of a structured approach that needs to be taken.
Yeah.
And I think the first place to start is gaining clarity as someone who is interviewing or someone who is recruiting. Gain clarity on why you're doing it in the first place.
Okay.
And
your answer would be, yeah?
For me, it's always been quite clear when I was in recruitment and meeting with people. It's always been clear that I want to change lives. I want to meet a candidate and facilitate their growth as a person. And that has always translated itself into how I do my job and into how I place a candidate.
Yeah.
And into how people experience me when I first pick up the phone and speak to them. So gain clarity on why you're doing it. You'll find that interviewers, recruiters who are chasing the sale, because you do get some of those recruiters who chase the sale. It's about targets. It's very evident to candidates, and that is what the brand then becomes. It's just a chasing sale brand. There's nothing deeper to it. So I would encourage, if you're interviewing, you are in the recruitment world, just search deeper for your values and your beliefs around why am I doing this, and always come back to that.
Yes,
and that will
yes.
always help you when you build that, when you're creating first impressions.
Right.
That's what people will see, and that's what people will take to.
Yeah.
If you think about all the big names in recruitment, I won't mention any, but
Yeah.
I'm sure as you sit here, you already have names popping up in your head. They are powerful brands for a reason, and it's been around the fact that they are able to communicate their aim, which is to place you and change your life. And because of that, they've been able to sustain their brands within the recruitment world.
So, Annie, you've got experience from an agency background and from a corporate background. What can corporates do? What can line managers or recruitment teams in corporate companies do to create a candidate experience that is attractive and that reflects their brand and their values?
It's important, I think, for in-house recruitment teams to have a synergy amongst themselves when it comes to why they're doing it, and an agreement as in why are we in this recruitment team and how are we going to approach things to make sure that we portray a brand that's firstly in line with the business brand, and secondly in line with the positive recruitment brand that you want to put out there to the public. I think a relationship with the brand team and the marketing team is now inevitable, and it needs to happen in all corporates. Recruitment can't operate just solely on their own anymore. So things like a careers page and social media pages, that's something that I think we need to be worked with collaboratively within corporates, with marketing, brand, and the recruitment team.
And what about people's personal profiles on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram?
Such a controversial one, that one.
Yeah.
Look, I believe in always having a degree of privacy.
Yes.
But these sites also allow you to control that privacy. So as a candidate, you need to try your best to maintain that privacy. If you are really expressive, then make sure that people can't access that if that's what you really want to do, because we will check it. As recruiters interview, we will check your social media pages. But as a company and as a person who is in the recruitment industry, I think it's very important for you to also manage your pages.
Yeah.
And just don't be complacent about what people can find out and what people can see, and how that can affect a first impression.
Exactly.
And how that can affect a recruitment process as well.
Because they say 80% of someone's first impression is created in the first 20 seconds.
Yes.
So people, we naturally make judgments pretty easily,
very
and very
easily.
Quickly.
And I mean, if I can take a screenshot of it, I can hold on to that judgment forever of you.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
It's quite important in the, well, they say the war for talent is over, but if you're competing with another recruiter to get a candidate who manages their social media in a completely different way, and you don't, well, you know that the results will be. Yeah.
So the first impression is no longer necessarily a face-to-face one.
Exactly.
In our,
that's actually true. It's
in
no
our new
longer
world of work.
face-to-face.
Yeah.
It could be anything. It used to be that sometimes word of mouth could affect impressions. I would come to you and say, Jane, so-and-so called me, they want to interview me, and you either say, ooh, go for it, or no, don't touch that person.
Yes, yes.
Now I can just find out for myself. I Google, make a few phone calls, and I make a decision within that first minute.
Absolutely.
Basically. Yeah.
And I think so there's the social media aspect, and then what I've also heard is candidates telling stories like, I went to this company and they were late to interview me, so I left. So sometimes, I mean, the managers will also say, oh, you know, if a candidate is late, I'm not going to interview them because, you know, look what it shows about their character. But we forget that the flip side is also true.
Yes.
So what are other kind of face-to-face impressions that we create that you can think of in your experience that could be positive or negative for candidates?
Definitely, everything that happens leading up to an interview is very important to be managed well.
Okay.
So from booking the candidate and confirming where they need to go, if there's parking involved, where do they park, if they're signing in, warning them that you're going to need 10 minutes to sign in. It's all important things that need to be communicated to the candidate that build an impression already.
Right, exactly.
If I get a full brief before an interview, I already know that, okay, wow, so this business approaches their work in a very detailed and structured way. And once you get to the interview, I think it's important for us to show respect as recruiters for people's time, just as much as you would like your time to be respected as well. So being late for an interview, I think regardless of the reason, firstly needs to be communicated to the candidate, and there needs to be an apology that goes with that as well. And all of it is around showing the respect and just maintaining the candidate's dignity. Nobody wants to wait.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because, I mean, I see when people, people I know or friends go for interviews, they ask around, what do you think I might get asked? I mean, what am I going to wear? And there's so much that goes into that. And so to get to that interview and to not have a positive candidate experience, it's not just for that candidate that it becomes negative. They go back and tell everyone else as well.
I mean, it interferes with the brand experience. I mean, we speak about brand experience. It's literally it's a customer who's experiencing your brand, and you've broken the trust, essentially. I mean, it happens to all of us. You go to a store, the service is bad. Most of the time, you don't ever want to go back there, and you can be guaranteed someone will tweet about it or go on Facebook about it. So you want to avoid that as an interview. You need to protect the corporate company brand, and you need to protect your brand as well, because things can go badly quite quickly.
Absolutely. Thanks, Annie. So I can see you're really passionate about this, as am I. So, and I think it's important that, companies realize how important this is more and more. So where do people start if they're saying, okay, I know that, my social media branding isn't up to scratch, or I want to improve the candidate experience. Where do they start?
I think it's important to be honest with yourself and start with a bit of introspection.
Yeah.
Why are you doing this?
Okay.
Why are you in this recruitment game? And I'm not saying there's a right answer to it. If you're in it because you enjoy chasing numbers, you enjoy the commission, then by all means, brand yourself according to that.
Yes.
If you're in it because you want to change lives, you want to play scarce skill and affect the country's transformation, then brand yourself according to that. But why you're in it is the reason why, is how you'll come to figure out, how do I brand myself? And if you want to take it a step further, there are lots of people you can speak to. I mean, I'm quite open to always advise people and guide them on how do you brand yourself, and sort of do a brand audit on the person and get them to a place where this is why they're doing what they do, and this is how they'll message it and show up when it comes to social media, to interviewing within a room, and to speaking to candidates.
Yeah.
But there are definitely resources out there that you can use.
And I think, as you say, if it's a manager in a corporate company, they need to make sure that their brand is aligned to their company's brand and values.
Very important.
And that the candidate experiences those values through their process.
Yeah. I mean, the employment relationship, it actually starts from that first point of contact with a candidate.
Yes.
So it's important to maintain the experience of the brand throughout that experience. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you, Annie. Really
you.
enjoyed chatting to you
Thank you.
and getting your insights and that you've built over the years from your experiences.
Thanks, Jane.
And I look forward to seeing where that goes.
Yeah, exciting.